5 Eyewitness News at 6.
It's in the blood. Family tradition. Following in someone's footsteps, they all apply in the case of the Tressel family of the Twin Cities, a family that has the market cornered on coaching. Ed Cairo has the story tonight.
Let's go, let's run up and down a little bit.
It's the 22nd year that Dick Tressel is firing up the football Pipers. But those 22 years are just a continuation of an involvement that began when his dad coached high school ball in Ohio. It was infectious.
He had a ball, you know, and we were there watching it, and the kids were having fun, and you know, it was exciting.
Dick's dad, Lee Tressel, was Coach of the Year at Baldwin Wallace in Ohio in '78. Dick matched that honor 6 years later. Dick's brother Jim won it again in '91 and again in '94 at Youngstown State in Ohio.
Hey, that's good coverage. You're just a step slow. Just a step slow. You're right there, though.
This is how infectious it's been. That's Dick's son, Ben, an assistant coach at Hamline. And this interceptor is junior defensive back Luke Tressel, the last in the line to play for Dad. And son Mike is an assistant at Wartburg in Iowa.
If you're not careful, you'll be talking football with a Tressel somewhere in the United States.
If you're still not convinced, Dick Tressel's mother was so influential when they lived in Cleveland, she's in that city's Sports Hall of Fame. Dick is Hamline's athletic director and holds a doctorate in philosophy. But if he had choices to make, the game might prevail.
You know, the stuff out here on the grass is the most fun. So if I'm going to give something up, I'm not going to give up coming out here with these kids.
And Dick hopes that someday his grandchildren will join him there. Ed Cairo, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
'49 National Championship team honored today. Members of the Pipers 42 and 51 championship teams also on hand. You know, 50 years can change a few faces.
You look at each other and can that possibly be? And then after you talk a little bit, and you know, the hand inflections, the tone of the voice, that doesn't change. And of course, we're just tickled to be here. You know, 50 years, a long time. Nice to get out of bed and be over here.
KSTP Television. This is Channel 5 Eyewitness News live.
When it comes to track and field, Hamline University has a great track record, thanks mainly to one man. As Ed Cairo reports, he's a longtime coach who is in his final stretch run.
It's been a beautiful ride for the coach and his athletes. The more than 60 national champions, the myriad All-Americans, and the others.
What's really fun is to watch the kids that don't come in with as much talent, and they apply all the same principles, and they don't get great, but they get better.
That speaks volumes about the coach and his approach. But so does the list of stars, which reads like a who's who of small college track. The great shot putter Mike Manders, Dave Lindbergh, the record-setting pole vaulter, Todd Wallert, the preeminent long jumper, Sam Osell, the freshman sprinter who dazzled the Nationals. They competed, they graduated, and they come back. Record-setting 1984 relay anchor Brent Langford did the day we were there, and most all of them do.
They stop in and they call and they write, and it's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Staley's office is jammed with 33 years' memories of his athletes. You could easily discern the reasons.
He's concerned about you as an athlete, but also through the years he's helped a lot of his athletes work through a lot of issues off the track.
Kent Staley is stepping down, but not out. He'll continue to coach at Hamline, but not run the program, because grandchildren Emily and Brady are demanding more of his time.
To spend time with them is just one of the most rewarding things I've ever experienced.
Ed Cairo, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
With Paul Majors, Pat Miles, Ken Barlow, and Randy Shaver. You're watching KARE 11 News at 6.
Hamline University says thank you to a great lady.
Pat Paterson was a student and professor at St. Paul's School for half a century. This afternoon, Hamline dedicated its new state-of-the-art athletic fields in Pat Paterson's honor. The fields will be home to Hamline's soccer and softball programs. Hamline basketball and baseball legend Howie Schultz spoke of his friend.
This is a fitting day that she should be honored in this way, and if the windows of heaven are wide open and she's looking down on us, I'll bet there's the biggest grin you've ever seen. If the windows of heaven are wide open and she's looking down on us, I'll bet there's the biggest grin you've ever seen.
A St. Paul College pays tribute to one of its greatest graduates, a woman who went on to spend more than 40 years at her alma mater teaching physical education. She was an athlete and a scholar, but most of all, Patricia Paterson is remembered as a wonderful friend and mentor.
Earlier this month, Hamline University dedicated its new outdoor athletic facility as the Pat Paterson Field. In tonight's extra, KARE 11's Alan Costantini has more on a woman who's considered one of Hamline's heroes.
She was the sort of person who literally grew on you. You know, the more you knew of Pat, the more you became part of Pat.
The memory of a very special woman is taking root in St. Paul. It's not a field of dreams, it's a tribute to accomplishment. The women's sports teams of Hamline University are building on the legacy of Pat Paterson, a woman who waged a quiet battle for gender equity before the movement even had a name.
She introduced women's sports years before they were very widely around. If I had something for men, Pat wanted it for women as well.
Physical education for women wasn't a flirtation or a fad for Pat Paterson. It was a passion.
She came to Hamline as an undergraduate, stayed on to teach, and spent her entire life either as an undergraduate or on the faculty at Hamline.
Pat Paterson was married during World War II, but her husband died after just a year or so. For the rest of her life, this place was her husband, and her co-workers and her students were her family.
She was sort of a faculty staff mother of all the single people or unattached people who would come in.
She was interested in books. She was interested in music. She was interested in theater. She loved to travel. Well, I met Pat at an international conference in Jamaica in 1970.
Kay Martin-Johns of Wimbledon represented Britain at the Conference on Women's Athletics. Pat Paterson of Hamline University represented the U.S. They were friends ever after.
As a result of knowing Pat, I have become quite endeared with Hamline because Hamline was Pat.
And Pat became endeared of Kay's England, especially the brass monuments that became the subject of Hamline's famous Rubbings project. She spent 2 Januaries on cold cathedral floors with 24 of her Hamline family, tracing and preserving the beautiful centuries-old images.
The products of it all, as Hamline knows, are absolutely fantastic, and she did as many as anybody else.
The enormous Rubbings collection is another part of her contribution to Hamline.
Pat was Hamline. Almost synonymously, you think of them, two of them together.
She just wasn't a sports person and nothing else. She used it to get people involved in life.
Pat wasn't just an instructor, she was an athlete herself.
So she always had to run. She wasn't right if she didn't run. She didn't go somewhere.
In bad weather, Pat ran laps on the concrete balcony of the Hutton Fieldhouse. That included her 70th birthday.
She celebrated it by running an extra mile on the indoor track.
Even this fall, the men's and women's soccer team have had to use any available patch of grass for practice, but no longer.
This is some of the newest technology in field development.
There is a new set of expanded and rebuilt athletic fields on the campus this month.
This material, you can run a 40,000-pound truck across this if you'd want to.
It's called Netlon. Polypropylene netting is meshed into sand under the turf to create a super resilient playing surface for soccer, softball, and baseball. Only the second such facility in the country.
This material just self-aerates and self-springs back, and it's what they call self-cultivating, actually.
Pat Paterson's broad smile left us 2 years ago, but there was one last legacy for Hamline. The school has used her bequest as lead gift for the state-of-the-art $600,000 athletic field that now bear her name.
And she spent many of her golden moments on this field, this very one.
A perfect memorial for a memorable Minnesotan. Alan Costantini, KARE 11 News, St. Paul.
Pat Paterson graduated from Hamline in 1930. She retired from her teaching position there in 1975. The fields named in her honor are part of a $12 million expansion and renovation of Hamline's athletic facility.